Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we have the Sinn 556 RS. Now I've featured the 556 a few times, but never this model. This is the RS, and the big difference here, we have that funky red second hand on it. So really it's one of those, I say it's completely identical just for that second hand, but so many people prefer this. Let me know in the comments below which one you actually prefer. As I say, there is this one and there is also this. So as you can see, completely the same watches bar the bracelet and this second hand. So yeah, please let me know what you think in the comments below of it. Now, before I get too far into this review, I've got to say a big thank you to Ryan and the team over at Francis Gaye for allowing me to review this watch. They always have a great selections of Sinn watches in there. Well, not only Sinns, they've got, you name it, Dr. Seiko, Grand Seiko, Ballon Ross, Bremont, the list goes on. It really is worth popping in there, having a coffee, peruse, have a look at some watches. If you can't make it, check out their website. They'll be able to get you a watch out to you ASAP. So back to this. This actually is Sinn's entry level watch, and I think it is a real star. It really is one of these watches where less is more. This actually, let's talk sizes. It's 38.5 millimeters across. It's only 11 millimeters thick, and the lug to lug is a fraction over 45 millimeters, and the bracelet size on this is 20 millimeters, which means it looks right on so many wrists. I've got a 7.25 inch wrist, and when you see this on later, you'll see it just looks right because it's all dial. Even though it's a smaller watch, say, than, you know, like something like that one over there, which is 41 mil, it has the same size dial, or possibly even bigger, because it hasn't got a rotating bezel, and I think it looks absolutely stunning. It really is one of my favourite watches. I think the 556, it's just a great all-rounder. So let's zoom in a little bit on that dial, and as you can see, it is just nice and simple. I like this has the printed hour and minute track going around there. There is quite a bit of lume on this watch actually. It does work really, really well, and I like how everything's kept to a minimal. If I get this better idea, if you look here, we just have the Sinn text there, and right down the bottom, made in Germany. And what I like, but I know it's a bugbear not everyone else likes, I like the tiny little date window down here at a 4:30 position, because lots of people don't even notice it's there because it's so subtle. It doesn't spoil the dial in any way. It's so tiny, but it's there, and I actually prefer it because I find sometimes, you know, I do forget what date it is, and I find that really, really handy. So anyway, the nice sword style hands, it's just, yeah, I think it's one of these nice and simple dial, but it works, I think, really well. I like the way you have the black in the center of the hands, which just blends in with the back of the dial. Yeah, for me, this really does work. As we come out, you can see we have a flat sapphire crystal. There is AR coating on this on both the inside and the outside of a watch. So I think someone asked me the other day if it's on both sides or just the inner, but it is actually on both sides. So we have this, we don't actually have a rotating bezel, we have a standard bezel on there, and it has this kind of satinized finish all the way around the watch, and it just looks so clean and tidy. It really does look great, I think. You've got the crown guards on here, screw down crown, which is signed. Let's unscrew it. And ready, pop. That's just come out now. So you can actually see how much screw thread is on there. That is plenty of thread to lock this crown down. It is, even though it's just like an entry-level watch, it actually does have 200 meters of water resistancy to it, plus low pressure rated crystal on the front there. So it's really, it's like, do you need more of a watch, really? So as we come round to the back, we have a display case on the back, which is also sapphire crystal. We have a nice signed rotor from with Sinn on there, with both machining and nice brushwork on the outside. And below that is Bracelet SW200. Now, this isn't the same as what you get in, say, things like the Doxa 300T, some of the Oris Aquas and so forth. This is the top grade SW200 movement. So what that means is I put it on the time grapher earlier, and it's getting to a point now where I'm starting to think I'm wasting people's time by putting it on the time grapher, because we all know Sinn's come out really well. This came out at round about +1 second a day. So basically, versus the next level down, you get better shock protection, you get better, more decoration and regulation. I think the shock setting is the regulate spring, sorry, is slightly different. I've got to double check on that. But basically, you're talking a higher grade movement. All Sinns, at least every single one I've tested, is well within chronometer specs. So, you know, some watches I put on a time graph and they're coming out at plus, yeah, over 10 seconds a day, and I think, oh, that's not good. These, you don't seem to get that at all with these movements. They do use, and I say this, considering it's a base model, still uses the top grade movement. That's very impressive. Some watches at 2000 plus don't. So that's one thing to bear in mind. Now, the only difference, like I say, the other difference with this versus my 556A here is the bracelet. Now, as you can see on my 556A, I've got what's called the H-Link bracelet. And so it's a slightly different design and has a different clasp, and like that. So that's the kind of strap everyone's used to from Sinn. Now, this one features their Fine Link. Now, this is a more costly upgrade. Well, let's not say upgrade, just variation. It is a beautifully finished 5-link design. I just think it's really nice. It's so articulate. It is a very nice bracelet. All brushed, no polishing on this one at all. You have the hex link, or Allen keys as we're known in the UK, which you do get the tool for in the box. Signed butterfly clasp, so if I press there, it releases. Now, this won't release if you only press one. You have to press both of them to release it. So it does seem nice and solid and feels great on the wrist. Now, I say, that's not the only option you have with a 556. You can also buy it on a leather strap, or you can fit the silicone bracelet onto this silicone strap as well. To give you an idea of that, you have a Sinn. This is a rather old one here, but this I found will fit them. Yeah, it's a real strap monster as well. You can fit something like a nice chunky black leather strap on there. Perhaps on the RS model, it would be nice to have red hoops on there. Or you can go for something a little bit more contemporary, yeah, like this kind of tan style strap here. Both these straps are from John Keeley, by the way, and it does look great on a multitude of straps. Let me put it on my wrist and you can see how it looks. As I say, let me zoom out here. Bob's sporting the very 15-year-old discontinued Sinn 103, reverse panda as it's known. If I can put that back in there, there you go, Bob. I'm wearing a class, my old Seiko I had when I was 15 years old and still wear occasionally. So let's put this on my wrist, and there you go. That's how it looks. Now, some people I've heard say, oh, 38.5 mil, that's going to be way too small for my 7-inch wrist. Well, I've got a 7.25-inch wrist, and I think it looks great. It sits so well. It's one of these watches you put on your wrist and you forget it's there. I'm a real big fan of the 556 range. I think they're absolutely stunning watches. Anyway, let me know in the comments below if it's a kind of watch you'd consider, or do you think that 38.5 is too small? Who knows? Let me know. Okay, all the best, guys, and stay safe out there. Bye.